Welcome to the first episode of the PostUp podcast. I'm your host Halen, and I'm joined with my co-host Owen. Today we're going to be discussing the recent NBA draft. Owen, who won the draft for you?
I think the Atlanta Hawks won the draft for me. 2 top 10 picks with DeAndre Hunter and Cam Reddish, and then in the second round traded with the 76ers, which I hate because I'm a Sixers fan, but they got Bruno Fernando in the second round. They're looking so strong for next season. They're probably not going to win much, but they've laid the foundations for a very bright future.
Yeah, their future is set. I think we should say at the beginning that I'm a Oklahoma City Thunder fan.
Yeah, I'm a 76ers fan.
So we'll be discussing a bit about our teams in the draft later, obviously. But yeah, Atlanta, great for the future for them. Cam Reddish is a great player.
Yeah, so many people were low on him just because of his statistics at Duke, but I think you have to watch him play to really understand how good he can be.
He can do everything.
Yeah,
nice. He'll grab rebounds.
Play point guard in high school. You can run. He's an athlete. Do you know when you watch a player, and you can tell he's an athlete just by watching him.
Shooting form's a bit slow, but you can fix your form maybe.
I can tell that to Ben Simmons.
But no, yeah, Atlanta, great pick. Who would you say had maybe the worst draft?
Probably, I don't know. The Charlotte Hornets didn't have a great one. PJ Washington at 12 could be a decent player. But then selecting Cody Martins in early second, that was such a reach. But I don't know. They didn't select or make any moves that's really going to change the future. That might impact Kemba Walker's choice in free agency. They might lose everything. So.
Yeah, Kemba looks like he's gonna stay, but you need some good players to build around him.
Yeah,
it'd be nice if they would have drafted somebody to play with him. But
even if it was trading up to 10 for Cam Reddish, at least give yourself the chance to get a good team, a good player.
I was shocked that Cam Reddish actually went at 10. I probably could have gone 4th for me.
I would have taken 4th every day. I can't believe Washington passed up on him at 9.
You can't tell, we're big fans of Cam Reddish.
We love him. I can't believe that there was this passed up on him at number 9. They need a small forward. He'd have been perfect for them. But the New Orleans Pelicans, obviously they had a good draft. They selected what many thought to be the best player.
Yeah, we can't not talk about the draft, not talk about Zion Williamson.
I don't like Jackson Hayes at 8. He was my 5th choice centre. 5th ranked centre.
I like it. I think if he bulks up a bit.
But he's so frail. He's such a skinny frame. It's like Brandon Ingram. It's going to take a while for him to even get a little bit of muscle.
Yeah, it's not great having a skinny frame when you're a centre, but...
And he's only been playing basketball he's only been playing a lot of minutes for the last 2 years.
Don't talk to me about players who don't play basketball and get into the draft. But... Yeah, the only thing I've got against Zion is how overly rated he's being.
Oh yeah. He's not LeBron. He's not. He probably averaged 20 and 10, but he's not going to come in average 28 and be MVP for sure. Watching
his highlights and then watching people compare him to LeBron James it baffles me. He doesn't shoot threes.
His shooting form is awful.
The only highlights I've seen is his dunks.
These little white guys.
Yeah, I mean, dunking in college, is it really that big of an achievement?
But he's going to be a good player, obviously. But he's like Julius Randle.
Yeah.
Average 20 points.
Yeah.
Rest of the draft, Nickeil Alexander-Walker at 17. I love him. He's a good player.
You're a fan? I'm more into his cousin.
Dodgy.
Not like that.
Second round, Didi Louzada, or Marcos Louzada. For me, he's my favourite international prospect. He can do it all. And I don't know if he's going to come over next year. He might stay in Brazil or go to a different team for a couple of years. But he'd be a good player one day.
So he's at the Pelicans as well, yeah?
Yeah, he got drafted by the Pelicans.
So tell me a bit about him. What do you know about this small forward from Brazil?
Insanely athletic. He can shoot, kind of. Shooting form, I love his shooting form. He's perfect. Good dunker, good playmaker. He can just do everything at a good level.
Who would you compare him to in the current NBA?
Don't put too much pressure on him, but I don't know. Maybe.
Is he the Brazilian Durant?
No, Dwayne Wade maybe. He's like that style. Donovan Mitchell. He do a bit of everything.
Athletic.
Very athletic.
Well, let's kind of stick to some order of the draft. Ja Morant at second.
Ja Morant.
I personally, if I had the first pick, probably would have picked Ja Morant as a first pick.
Cam Reddish.
Yeah.
But Ja Morant, he's probably the best playmaker to come out for a couple of years. Good scorer. I'm just scared for his knees. He's so skinny, and he's already had bad knee injuries. Like.
What I love about Ja Morant is he has the look of an NBA player.
Yeah, he looks good, doesn't he?
I was looking at him in the draft and I thought, this guy just looks like he's an all-star already.
Did you see his dad wearing a fedora?
Yeah.
Yeah, style.
But yeah, the only thing that worries me about Ja Morant is his shooting form. It's not the best. It's a bit slow.
It's like a slingshot in a way.
It's a bit weird, but I feel like work on that a little bit, and he could be a great player for Memphis.
He's still so skinny. He needs to put on weight, but the more weight he puts on, the more tension's on his knees. And I don't know, maybe a Derrick Rose 2.0.
Let's hope it doesn't go the same way.
Yeah,
as
that's what I'm scared of. But I don't know, if he can stay healthy, he'd be a good player.
Still kind of baffled at how Cam Reddish came 10th behind Darius Garland,
Rui Hachimura, Jackson Hayes.
Let's talk about the 5th, 6th and 7th pick. Darius Garland went to the Cavs. Jarrett Culver went to Minnesota. And Kobe White going to Chicago. What do you think about these three guys?
I feel sorry for Garland having to go to Cleveland.
Yeah.
I don't know how they're going to work out, because obviously they drafted Kevin Porter as well. They still got Jordan Clarkson. They still got J.R. Smith. Shetty Osman. There's way too many ball handlers on the team. I just don't get how everyone's going to get around.
Yeah. Well, their idea is to play Garland and Sexton, 2 ball handlers in the backcourt.
I don't like that. 2 6'3" guards. That's just nah.
You have to work on some deep. Well, Sexton's a good defensive player.
Yeah.
What do you know about Garland? What's his defensive abilities?
Abysmal. He is horrific.
Yeah, so
I think the best he could be is just a good team defender. But teams are going to pick on him because he can't defend. He can't stay in front of anyone. So it's like we see with JJ Redick. Smart teams just switch the best player onto him and just cook him up.
So, it's going to be another long season for the Cavs.
Oh yeah, they're top 5 again. They'd be picking top 5.
Good luck to them in next year's draft. We'll be back.
Select another point guard.
But Jarrett Culver, can't say his name properly. Shooting guard at Minnesota. They're just going to ruin him. It's Minnesota. There's not much more to say about Minnesota.
They needed a Jimmy Butler replacement, and they got him. He's one of my favourite players in the draft, but I can't believe the Suns traded that pick away. Because they need a point guard, but they traded back to 11. They reached for a soon to be 24-year-old. I just don't get what they're doing. Like, why?
Let's talk about the Suns. Before the draft, they traded TJ Warren to Indiana to save cap space.
20-point per game scorer. Yeah, to save cap space.
But then acquired Darius Saric.
And Aaron Baines. Like, they saved barely any money.
Yeah.
I just don't get what they're doing. Cam Johnson at 11. He can shoot. He can't do anything else. And he's so old for a rookie. And then late in the first, they made another trade with Boston to get Aaron Baines on the 24th pick to get Ty Jerome. Again, I think he's a shooter. He can play, make a little bit. He can't do much more than that. I'm shocked he went in the first round, but
basically,
what are you doing, Phoenix?
Devin Booker, just try and leave. Just try and get out as soon as you possibly can.
Go to LA,
it's not going to be fun years for you. Rui Hachimura went 9th. I'm not a massive fan.
Did you see who that draft analyst Chauncey Billups compared him to?
No.
Kawhi Leonard.
It's fair to say, if you watch
comparisons are awful.
If you watch the draft, Chauncey Billups is not the best pundit.
He compared DeAndre Hunter to Jay Crowder.
Yeah, that was the standout for me.
Anyway, back on Hachimura. I was shocked to see him go top 10. I thought I had a feeling he'd go in the lottery, but
I thought he'd be like 12th to 13th.
Considering you still had like Reddish on the board, Goga Bitadze still on the board,
Tyler Herro,
Romeo Langford. I'm so shocked they took Rui Hachimura. And he doesn't have like a standout skill. He's not a great defender. He didn't shoot much. He shot a good percentage, but he only shot like 1 a game. So
yeah, with the John Wall injury for the Wizards, you really need somebody to help with Bradley Beal.
Bring out the tanks, just bomb the season.
But is there real much point tanking now with
That's
this,
a good point,
with the lottery draft?
Because
Pelicans didn't
have like
tank
the
as much.
8th or 9th best odds.
Yeah. So is it ruined tanking?
Oh yeah.
Has the lottery draft ruined tanking?
But it sucks though for like the Wizards. Like they're not going to win anything.
No.
Same with Cleveland.
Yeah, no.
And
You
Chicago.
say he sucks for the Wizards, but look at Phoenix and Cleveland.
Yeah.
Just win like 6 games all year.
And the Knicks.
And the Knicks, yeah. We'll get to the Knicks. So as an OKC fan, I really expected going to the draft that we would draft Tyler Herro, and then to see him go 13th was shocking. To be fair, I didn't think you'd go that early.
Yeah, I was caught off guard.
Yeah, I definitely thought.
You'd be more like in the 20s.
I was sat back in bed thinking, I know safely we'll probably get Tyler Herro and we'll see what he can do, but to the Heat.
They got their Dwayne Wade replacement.
Yeah, I suppose.
Personally, I've always liked Herro, even back in high school. I don't get why he was only a 4-star recruit, but I think he's, to me at least, he's just like Devin Booker. Like, both went to Kentucky, played both role players at Kentucky, got drafted 13th, both of them. Exactly the same play style.
And also, great drip at the draft.
The watch, like.
Iced out. I'm a big fan of Sekou Doumbouya. I was watching a lot of his highlights when he was playing in France, and he looks pretty good. What do you think?
I can't believe he was available at 15. I thought he was prime for the Wizards at 9. So the fact that he was there at 15 is great value for the Pistons. It might take him a couple of years to really adjust, but with international players, normally they're like skinny, but he's already well built. Like, he can already like handle the NBA, I think.
Yeah.
But he's still so raw. Like, it might take 2 or 3 years for him to really adjust to the NBA.
The next Giannis. I think one of the steals of the draft has to go to Indiana and getting Goga Bitadze at 18. I'm a big fan of this guy.
I'm a big fan. I don't get why Indiana selected him. They got Sabonis and Miles Turner already. Like, they just want a third string centre.
Could play Sabonis at power forward.
There's rumours they're looking to trade Sabonis.
Ooh.
Yeah, I saw that on Twitter.
Does he want to come back to OKC?
Trade Steven Adams. No, they wouldn't want Steven Adams.
They don't want another centre.
I think Boston were after him. They're interested.
But Goga Bitadze, very tall ceiling for this kid.
Yeah, he could be one of the. I don't want to say one of the best. I don't want to say he could be Jokic, but he could be Jokic. He could be Nurkic.
Probably the best centre in this draft class.
Personally, I'd say between him and Bruno Fernando.
We'll get on to Bruno Fernando how late he was in this draft, but
great pick by Indiana, 18. They could have like addressed like a point guard since Darren Collison's out of contract, or a wing.
They definitely need other positions, but when there's a player like Goga Bitadze on offer,
sometimes teams choose the best player available. Regardless
you can't
of position.
turn down certain players.
Yeah.
Talking about another player who I would love to be OKC bound, Matthias Thybulle. Tell me about him then. To your team.
I'm so glad we drafted him. He's basically what we needed, because in the playoffs we didn't have much defense. As soon as Embiid went out of the game and the second unit would come in, we would just get torched by anyone. Literally anyone. You could be like a 13 point guard and you would score 20 points against us. But now we've got our point guard defender. He's not great offensively, but I'm glad we traded up just to secure him, because I know for a fact the Thunder would have chosen him at 21. Definitely. Or wherever they were picking. 21, wasn't it?
Yeah, but
traded down.
I really wanted this guy. My thinking was, if Roberson comes back and he isn't as elite as a defender, because he's been out for 2 years now, we don't know what he's going to be like when he comes back. If he ever comes back.
Yeah.
We don't really know when he will come back. I thought this guy could easily replace him and be that shooting guard.
Even a better version of him.
That doesn't really do much on offense, but is an elite defender. So, again, another player. It's a really good draft class, I feel, this year.
The only issue I had with trading up, we traded the 33rd pick instead of the 34th pick. Reports come out, we were looking to get Carson Edwards at 34, but obviously Boston stole him at 33. So then we traded out of that. So I'm a bit disappointed we didn't keep one of those high second rounders. But we got the player we wanted in Matisse.
And so OKC were on for the 21st pick, and I was like, all right, we didn't get Herro, didn't get Thybulle, but Brandon Clark's on offer. Oh, what's that? We've traded the 21st pick for the 23rd pick.
And what else did we get in return? Was it like a future second round pick?
Yeah, the next year's second round pick, I think it was. And then, who do we call out? Then, Clark goes to Memphis. With the player I wanted, we need a backup power forward. Patrick Patterson is shocking. I don't want him anymore. I've had enough. Someone to play on the bench off Jeremy Grant, but we didn't get him. Brandon Clark was someone I probably really wanted. He's a good player.
But at least he goes to Memphis now. Team up with Jaren Jackson, Ja Morant.
Yeah,
It's going to be an athletic team.
then we go to who we actually drafted for, Darius Bazley. Never played basketball before, apparently.
I mean, he played high school.
Never played basketball before.
I mean, he's so raw. Like, he could be a really good player in a couple of years. He also might not be in the league in a couple of years because he's not good enough.
Well, living in the UK, staying up to watch the draft, sitting back thinking, let's draft a good player, let's get somebody in. And then when you pick a name that I've never heard of before, and then you go to Reddit and see that he didn't even play basketball last year, I was worried, it's fair to say. But then, after a bit more digging, and you look into him a bit more, you think he must have something about him. To get $1 million deal from New Balance at the age of 18, which could rise to 14 million depending on how he does in the NBA and a part of their company, there must be something about this guy. He's also part of Clutch Sport, LeBron AD and all them. Yeah. So there's something about this guy. I think maybe
his performance at the NBA Combine really helped him out, because obviously he's more talented than most of the players who were at the Combine, and it really showed in the 5-on-5 scrimmage. If he didn't have a good Combine, he might have been a mid-second round pick.
Yeah.
So got himself in the first round.
Finished nice around the rim.
So
not great on the ball.
He's still so raw. But he has a good package of good foundation to build upon. But then again, when Westbrook was drafted, he was a raw player, raw athletic player, and they built him up to be one of the best in the league.
Triple-double king.
Yeah.
Talking about another player that I kind of wanted us to draft, Nasir Little. I was shocked that he went so late, and I thought, when we were on the clock then for the 23rd pick, I thought, just get Little in. He's a good player to get in.
He's a lottery talent, but I don't know why he fell to the late first. I know there was rumours of, when the Sixers traded up, that he was the one that we were trading up for. Obviously not, but for Portland, I think that's such a good pick. They need a small forward so badly. And they got Nasir Little, one of the best in the draft, I think.
Just gotta say, it's kind of embarrassing when you get invited down to the floor as a rookie, and you're waiting to be drafted, like Bol and Nasir Little were, and you have to wait. When you're predicted lottery pick, and you get drafted at 25, you could see how annoyed Bol, we'll get onto Bol a bit later, but you could see how annoyed he was sat down there in his lovely spider-webbed suit. It's not great being stuck down there in the green room and just watching everybody else go up when you're supposed to be predicted top 15.
I think one of the most shocking picks was Jordan Poole to the Warriors.
No, I don't know much about this guy, but
I never saw him as a first round prospect. I thought he'd be like a mid to late second rounder. He's a good player, he's a good scorer, good feel for the game. But I never saw him as a first round pick, so that caught me completely off guard, especially when Keldon Johnson and Kevin Porter were still on the board. But great value for the Spurs and Cavaliers for being able to get those two wings.
Well, yeah, Keldon Johnson to the Spurs. You just assume that Pop's going to make him to a great player.
He probably won't play much next year because that's just what they do, but he'll be a good player in a couple of years.
Any rookie I see go to the Spurs, I'm like, they'll probably be pretty good.
DeJounte Murray,
yeah,
very raw. Now he's already one of the best defenders in the league. Derek White came up big in the playoffs.
Yeah, I just look at these players thinking, they're going to come big soon.
Yeah, eventually, they'll be good players.
When Pop retires, it's going to be
a sad day.
It's going to be a sad day. But it was nice to see Kevin Porter Jr. get the last pick in the first round. In a great suit as well, paying homage to his dad in the inside stitching.
Yeah.
I hope he's good. Obviously, injuries have been a concern for him.
One thing that concerns me from him is his free throw percentage, shooting 50%. And that's like the biggest sign if you're going to be a good three-point shooter or not. So it's 52%. It's just
3% means nothing. Westbrook gets triple doubles every game.
Mark Foss wasn't even that bad.
But I think he really was. Into the second round, who would you say was the steal of this second round?
Bruno Fernando. Honestly, if the Pelicans drafted him, Hawks. If the Hawks drafted him at number 10, I wouldn't have blinked. It's a fantastic pick at number 10. They got him in the sec. Well, the Sixers drafted him. I was so happy. I was celebrating. I was cheering. Went on Twitter to have a look at the reactions. Then I saw we traded him to Atlanta. I couldn't believe it. I was devastated.
See, I went to sleep after we drafted Darius Bazley. And I woke up in the morning to look at the draft lineup and see that Philly got Bruno Fernando, and I thought, wow, what a steal that is. And then see the little asterisk underneath saying traded, and I just knew you'd be pretty upset.
Yeah.
I just knew.
Oh, he's my favourite centre in the whole draft. Like, we need a backup centre because Boban isn't good enough in the playoffs. Bruno Fernando can defend. He's massive. He's so well built, he can shoot. Oh, he was perfect for us and we just let him go.
So probably the most annoyed player in this draft was definitely Bol. He sat down for a while in this lovely suit with
he
cobwebs
does
all over it.
But I feel sorry for him. Having to wait that long.
Yeah.
And it's like when he finally got drafted, it's not like he could go home straight away. He had to do all the media stuff.
Yeah.
So he was there for hours after having to wait for like 4 or 5 hours to get drafted.
How good do you think he is? 'Cause obviously there was a lot of talk about his attitude and
I don't like him at all.
College.
He's so skinny, so frail. People say he's a good defender just because he blocks shots, but when you actually watch him play defense, he's awful. He's got no like sense of where you should be, like no anticipation. I'm not a big fan. I know he put up big numbers, 21 points, 9 rebounds, but I don't know. I can't see him being a good player.
A player which I'm a fan of, and I wouldn't actually mind it if Thunder had a second round pick. I would have quite happily picked this guy, Ignas
Brazdeikis.
Yeah, I can't say his name, but there's something about this kid. There's something about him. He doesn't seem like a nice guy.
No, he's an annoying player.
I don't know if I can say that, but
like I hate him, but I love watching him play.
Yeah, he's got talent.
It's like Grayson Allen, where if he's on your team, you love him to pieces. If he's not on your team, you hate him.
He's a talented small forward, and I the Knicks is probably a good move for him. Yeah, they're not going to win many games, but he might get a good minutes off the bench where he could like improve his game, improve himself at an NBA level. So I can see him being a decent player in the future. Another player who maybe went later than we expected, Jalen McDaniels.
I think it was more like off the court issues that caused him to drop so far.
Yeah.
Obviously, very bad stuff he did, but if he was a good person, he probably would have been a first round pick. He has first round talent, but obviously he's not as good as his brother as he's going to be next year. One thing that confused me was the Utah Jazz, where they had 3 picks in the last 10 of the second round, and they chose Jarrell Brantley. Obviously, I'm a draft nerd. I love the draft. I don't know who that was. I had to do research on who he was. Justin Wright Foreman, fantastic player. I was kind of hoping he'd fall to the Sixers at 54. Obviously, he got picked one higher. And then Mioni from... Where did he come from? Yale, I think it was. Very smart guy. But I'm not too sure he's going to make it in the NBA.
Is he good at basketball? That's what matters in the draft,
decent,
really.
But, it remains to be seen. Didn't go up against great competition in the Ivy League. Yeah, see how he does in Summer League.
Let's go back to last year's draft and the big trade of that one, where Atlanta traded Luka Doncic for Trae Young, as well as the 10th pick in this year's draft, where they picked, obviously, our mate Cam Reddish. Is that like one of the best trades for Atlanta?
I think it was more like an even trade because the Mavericks got what they wanted in Luka. He's probably going to be the Rookie of the Year. Talented. I don't think he's going to get much better than he is, but he's going to be a good player for a long time.
But Atlanta have got
franchise point guard.
And another Rookie of the Year contender for the
Paul
this
George
year.
2.0. Baby Paul George.
In 10 years, we'll see how good that trade really was after seeing their careers.
Both players, like Trae Young and Cam Reddish, they're perfect for the way Atlanta play. Doncic is perfect for Mavericks. So I think it was just an even trade.
The trade helped everybody, but
Atlanta got two potential all-stars.
I'd much rather be on Atlanta's side of the draft. So that concludes this year's draft. Now we'll have a little chat about what we want to see our teams do in this off-season now. Owen, do you want to start and tell us what you want to see Philly doing? There's a lot of...
We have to run it back. We have to just re-sign Jimmy, re-sign Tobias, re-sign JJ, re-sign Mike Scott, James Ennis, TJ, Boban. Just bring back the crew. Because we were one shot away. Like if it wasn't for the
bounces away.
If it wasn't for the greatest shot in NBA history, we'd have got to the NBA finals and probably would have won it. Let's be honest, because Milwaukee, I always felt we'd get past Milwaukee in 5, maybe 6 games. But the Warriors, obviously, with all their injuries.
But would they have got those injuries if they didn't?
Everything happens for a reason. I don't know. You never know, but we were 4 bounces away from beating the Raptors, and it's just so getting. We have to bring everyone back.
But how likely is it that you will bring everybody back?
Well, our owners have said they're willing to pay whatever it takes. So, but it's a question: is Jimmy and Tobias happy with taking a reduced role? If it means winning, like Jimmy Butler always says, it's all about winning. It's all about winning. It's not about the money. but he wants a max contract. If it was all about winning for him, he would take less money so he could sign more players. But it depends if LA, the Lakers or Clippers make a good offer, Jimmy might leave. Brooklyn is a good option for Tobias. I swear to God, if he goes to Brooklyn, I'd be devastated. I'd be devastated. But yeah, do bring back everyone. Maybe a Kevon Looney as a backup centre.
Big fan of Kevon Looney. Really showed how good he is in the finals. Warrior.
Maybe Dwayne Dedmon as a backup centre. We haven't got much money to work with, but we got a mid-level exception. I think that's around 9 million that we could spend on players. So hopefully, I mean, there is a scenario where we could sign Kawhi Leonard and then re-sign either Jimmy or Tobias. I wouldn't say no to that,
but unlikely.
Unlikely. Al Horford's been linked with us.
That'd be nice.
That'd be fantastic. I would love that. I think I'd rather Al Horford over Tobias, just because he's a veteran, smart player. He doesn't want the ball. He doesn't need the ball. You can just do a bit of everything. So, but I think the main thing we need to do is bring everyone back.
Yeah. Well, it might be a fun summer for you if that happens, but
it'd be devastating if we lose everyone.
Yeah, but at least stuff are going to happen for you. Whereas OKC over here, we
can't do anything.
Don't have any space to sign anybody.
I think you just gotta hope you trade Steven Adams for anything. The
perfect off-season for us is just get rid of Steven Adams for anything really. Re-sign Nerlens Noel to be the starting centre, but Adams on how much is he on? 24 mil.
I think the Thunder has to trade Steven Adams, Roberson, and maybe Schroeder to save. Imagine how much money would they be saving there? About 50 million.
A lot of money. The way I see it though is Dennis Schroeder is 6th man of the year potential. There's not a better backup point guard in the league than Dennis Schroeder. I know he's on a lot of money.
Paying 15 mil, Lou Will's on 7 mil a year. And he's the best sixth man in the league.
Yeah, I know, but I'm a big fan of Dennis Schroeder, and I feel like if we trade him away, who we gonna get that's even like? He's so well for us, and like obviously because Robson's not there, been there this season, and Ferguson's been our starting shooting guard. In the fourth quarter, Schroeder checks in at shooting guard, and he helps so much. So Russ doesn't actually handle the ball, and get 10 turnovers a game every game. He's just such a useful player. I don't want us to trade him, but I am the biggest fan of Andre Roberson.
He hasn't played in 2 years.
I know, but
you don't know what you're going to get.
A few nights ago, I was in bed watching his highlights from the conference finals against San Antonio Spurs and watched him D up Kawhi Leonard like it was nobody's business. So I'm hoping that he can come back. This is what I want Matthias Feibel for. So we could trade him, get the money, and then we'd still have an elite guard, or potential elite guard. But the worry for Robson is that he comes back at some point and he isn't that elite guard he used to be.
Yeah, and that's what the Sixers did last year with Markelle Fultz. They probably could have traded him last off-season for a nice return. They betted on him, they thought he was going to come back good, and he was a complete awful. It's no nice way to describe him, but he was awful, and we ended up trading him for Jonathan Simmons.
Excellent player.
A couple picks maybe. So do you want the Thunder to cash in on Roberson now? Because if he comes back and is just not who he was, you're not going to get anything for him.
But what if he does come back and he is?
That's the risk you got to take. That's the risk.
He's only on 10 mil.
That's a lot. It's a tough situation.
But it's a tough situation. But there's been a lot of rumours recently that Steven Adams might be subject of a trade to the Celtics. I don't know what they would give us for him.
Well, they'd have to match salary. Oh wait, they got cap space this summer now because Horford and Kyrie are leaving. So it might be like Steven Adams and a first round pick for Semi Ojeleye.
Yeah,
or like Robert Williams.
Would I reject that? Probably not. If we sign Nerlens Noel, that is if we don't re-sign Nerlens Noel, and then but I'd still want to trade Adams, but we at that point we don't have a centre, and then we have little money still to bring in a centre.
There's some good centres on the market though, like Brook Lopez is available.
I would love to see Brook Lopez.
Ed Davis, Noah Vonleh, or good backup centres.
Brook Lopez is the player on 2K. Whenever I do a My League, I draft him straight in. Every year I do an OKC My League. Brook Lopez is straight in at power forward. And yeah, but Adams has to go. Maybe they'll give us Gordon Hayward.
They might do, but like his relationship with Brad Stevens, he was a college coach.
Yeah.
They're basically best friends. Like, I don't know if they'd split apart.
But hopefully this next season we get past the first round. That's all I hope for. I don't care what happens.
It's been 3 years in a row. Not
Yeah,
the first
3 years in a row. Then the season before that we got to the final and blew a 3-1 lead. Life as an OKC fan is fun.
It's not great, is it? To be fair, I didn't do a 19-win season, 18-win season, a 10-win season, a 28-win season. Yeah. But we made it to the second round 2 years in a row, so it was all worth it.
At least I can see my star man getting triple doubles every night.
Hey, Ben Simmons gets some.
Ben Simmons is scuffed Westbrook. Thanks for listening to the first episode of the PostUp podcast. Hopefully we'll be back next week to discuss the Summer League, who's winning the Summer League, what players we're looking forward to watching the Summer League, and discuss a bit of the off-season and where do we think players that don't play for our teams will go. What's going to happen to the Lakers? Will Patrick Beverley go there? They need players. What's going to happen? Thanks for listening, and see you next week, maybe.